Well, welcome to our Module 5 live session. It is 6:30 p.m. Central Standard Time, so I'm going to go ahead and get started. I realize that there are people that may be coming in, but I want to make sure to respect everyone's time who is here. As I get started, I just want to do a quick sound check. Can everybody hear me okay? And can everybody see the PowerPoint okay? All right. Seeing that everybody could hear the everybody could see the PowerPoint okay, I would like you guys to mute your audio, and then you guys can respond and unmute it at any time I ask a question. So tonight's live session will kind of look like this. We will have our welcome and introductions. We will check in and then have some reflections on the course. We'll go over some important due dates. We will review the journal assignment expectations. We will have time for reflection and critical thinking questions. And then we will end with the 6 principles of professional communication. And then you guys will have time for questions and answers. All right, so it's always nice to hear a little bit from everyone present at the live session. As you all know, my name is Mike, and I currently live in Colorado. I do have a master's degree in early childhood education, and one of my favorite movies is, as a child, is Home Alone. I still watch it to this day, especially around the holidays. It seems to be very funny, and it really never gets old to me. So, yes, I would like you guys to now share about your guys' self, where you are, what type of program you are in, and favorite movie as a child, and why.
What star are you in? Baby. That one. Oh, is that one? Seven.
Hello.
Hi. I loved the Rugrats movies as a child. I loved the show, and especially like the movie where they went to Paris.
Nice. What did you like about it?
I just really loved the show growing up. It was really popular when I was a kid, and so when the movie came out and they had like a newer animation, I like rewatched it a million times. I loved it.
Nice. Thanks for sharing, Caitlin.
And one's already playing out. I don't know. Do we have to make it off now? The packing's in 3 days. I'll be going for. Yeah. I'll try to buy it sometime. Okay.
Hi.
Hello.
Hi. I'm Debbie from California. I'm an education coordinator at Bright Horizon, so I kind of work with all the programs from 3 months to about pre-K. My favorite movie as a child was Mighty Ducks. I really like those movies because, they're together, they were like working together. At first, like children didn't want to be together, and then they ended up being like a family at the end.
Nice. I like the Mighty Ducks too. And then it's kind of funny because we have a lot of people from Minnesota, and I think that movie was based out of Minnesota, which is kind of funny.
And I always wanted to ice skate, but there's not so many options here except for like an indoor rink and whatnot. It was I know how to but I fall a lot. But then it was really cool. Like.
I'm from North Dakota, so right by Minnesota, and I can be honest, I don't know how to ice skate. I'm scared I will break an ankle or something. So. Not very coordinated.
It's dangerous. It really is. But then it's really fun. Like, to be a kid and everything and do it. Like my kid, I have my daughter hasn't tried, but every year we take our son and But he's only done it with those like little helper things. But you know, just seeing how happy they get, like it's worth it. It's totally worth it.
Yeah, I should teach my daughter how to do that.
Hello.
Thank you. Hello.
Hi, it's Mishi from Boston.
Hi, Mishi.
Hi. My favorite movie, I've been an infant teacher right now, but my favorite movie was Annie, that little orphan Annie, and it was just, I loved how she found a family at the end. I love it when kids are happy and they get all the love that they deserve. It's just something that makes me really happy and like heartwarming to me. And it's just a movie that's always stuck with me throughout my childhood and even as an adult. And my daughter watches it too now, and it's something I've always loved.
Well, thank you for sharing.
The world in which we live equally distributes talent, equally distributes opportunity, and but not always.
Does anybody else want to share?
Can change the whole trajectory of your life.
A lot of people are sharing in the chat box, which I am not actually going to read out loud, but I want to say thank you, everybody, for sharing, and welcome to our last live session. So I'm going to go ahead and move on to the next slide. So I just want to check in right now with you guys. How are things going? What are some of your reactions from this week, this week's module? And then these other questions, like what went well this term? What are you looking forward to Explorations 2 if you're taking it? And do you know your overall grade at this point? So I just want to open it up for discussion.
No. Everything's up to 65% off. Great. You can have it all. No, almost all. Major fashion brands up to 65% off. Allen Premium Outlet. Shop more for less.
This is an important message for anyone with Medicare. You may be
Has anybody got a chance to look at some of the stuff from Module 5? Or Week 5, I mean?
Some of these plans have a $0 monthly premium with service of home. That's right. For one low plan premium or something, $0 per coverage with hospital visits, doctor appointments, dental care, eyeglasses and contact lenses, hearing aids, and possibly more. Maybe the first time you've heard about this type of Medicare. Visitors at the Medicare.com. Our licensed insurance agents who will explain more when you call. Call now to see if you qualify. Call the number on your now to see if you qualify for the you work on Medicare. Regarding with or acting on behalf of any government agency or program.
Yes, Module 5, the Module 5 has a lot of good different situations regarding communication and how to handle different problems in your workplace, which is great.
Relax. You're allowed to have feelings. They touch you for it. People like you all the more. Kate is leaving. So, I've heard there's this miraculous invention called the aeroplane. To do that, she could come here. not that simple. She can't imagine how difficult it is. No, you're right. She can't even. We were going to have to tell her.
Okay, first round during 5. Alex is asking to see you. Now?
Anything else? Anybody else have anything to add regarding these questions?
10 minutes. We can hit the team way during the game. Oh, I did.
What do you think?
I think photographer got my good side.
How about him?
My photogenic angles.
If you're viewing this online, and if you're not here and going to view this recording, please make sure to answer each one of these questions when you submit your essay for your live session. And of course, if you guys are attending here and you participate and stay in the live session for the whole hour or so, you will get credit. I'm going to move on. Well, that's good. A lot of good information for me to have that you guys are understanding. You're thinking it's somewhat easy now, and you are learning a lot from the class, which is good for me to hear. So I am going to move on. You have a really, really, really busy week. I'm not going to lie. And there's some of the important due dates I really want to go over with you guys, just so you guys understand when assignments are due and everything else between now and the end of the course. So like I said, this week is going to be the most important week as far as assignments. All your Module 5 assignments, aside from the discussion, which is due Saturday night like usual, are due on Sunday, December 9th at 11:59 p.m. Central Standard Time. And I've been really lenient on people in this term, all my students in this term, but make sure that you realize, not just in this class, but in future classes, that 10% of the assignment is deducted for each day that an assignment is late. But please try to be really communicative to, you know, a lot of you guys are really communicative to me and letting me know if you guys are having barriers or whatnot. But in the future, like with your other instructors, make sure that you have that same communication so you understand that if you are having any issues, that you understand what's going on. The course does end next Friday, December 14th, which is the great thing about next week is you don't have a discussion to do. You only have the Module 6 assignment, which is an exploration assignment, which is due on December 14th at 11:59 p.m. Central Standard Time. I cannot accept any assignments after 11:59 p.m. Central Standard Time on December 14th. So with that said, just make sure that you guys are getting your assignments done. Like I said, this week, the discussion post, your written assignment, your exploration assignment. You're doing this right now, your live session reflection. You don't need to do it if you are here, but if you miss the live session, you're going to have to do that too as well. And then the journal assignment. So with that being said, I'm going to jump into the journal assignment expectations. I understand that there has been some questions regarding journal assignments and whatnot. So I just want to make sure that we are a little bit clear on this going forward, so you guys could work on your journal assignment this week and making sure that you get the most credit possible on your assignment. So there there's 6 bullets I'd like to briefly talk about your journal assignment. The first one is your reflection assignment will be graded based on the quality of information you include from all 4 of your topics, which is 50% of the grade assignment. So can't stress enough, make sure that you have good information in there and that your information is concrete. It's really meaningful, but you know, like I said, there's no wrong or right answer. Just making sure that you are getting quality information in your assignment. The next thing is review your entries from all 4 weeks, revise, do further research, and add any additional information as necessary. So if you feel like you forgot something, or if you want to add something, please do so. That's why we have until Sunday to get it done. Just making sure that you have as much research and necessary information that you want to add into that. Just a reminder, your journal should be 1 document with each entry starting on a new page. So just to let you know that APA formatting requires you to have a title page on there, making sure that you have a title page that's separate, and then the next page would follow with like your module 2 journal reflection, and then that should be 1 page, and then on another new page should start module 3, and then another page would start module 4. So like I said, each entry should include the module it was assigned in and a title. Each of your entries should be a minimum of 1 page type doublespace, and it can be formatted in a bullet list or other creative formats, but if you do that, make sure that you are following the APA format as well. And then last but not least, the journal assignment is worth 12% of your overall grade in the course. So it might make or break some of you guys from getting a C to a B or a B to an A or whatever grade you have. So just really make sure that you do a good job on your journal assignment, because that is a big part of your guys' grade. Does anyone have any questions about that?
I have a question.
Yep, go ahead.
So I guess my question would be, I read all the topics that each journal needs to be on. So I guess my question would be, should the entry be a combination of the reading and experience and our opinion kind of all combined together?
Yes, however you want to do it, there's no right or wrong answer to it. It's just, it's more of your opinion of what you think. If you want information, like if you think it's significant to your journal and it relates to what you're saying, yes, please include it. Just make sure that if you do include something and it's a direct quote or something, that you make sure that you cite it.
Okay, but I guess if it doesn't, so the journal doesn't have to necessarily include something specific from one of the module readings. It could be just that general topic, right? It doesn't have to like refer back to something.
No, not at all.
Okay. All right. Thank you. That's what I wanted to clarify.
Yep.
Thanks.
You bet. Any other questions regarding the journal assignment?
I was wondering if you...
Oh.
Hi, I just need to clarify for the Module 2 entry, as far as for like choosing a theory to go off of, do we have to cite any sources for like what theory or event we chose to write about? for that entry.
Like I said to Michi, if you take a direct quote from something, of course you're going to have to cite it, but if it's something that is knowledge, not common knowledge, you will not have to like cite anything. So if you talk about Vygotsky's proximal zone of I can't say that word, proximity, making sure that if there is something specific in the book that you're just referencing, you're making sure that you're citing it correctly. So if people like, I don't know, if somebody else does not know the topic very well, and it's not common, then yes, please cite it.
Okay, thank you.
Does that answer your question?
Yes, it does.
Okay, perfect.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I just had to be hurt. I don't want to get close and again. It doesn't make sense.
Somebody said, how do you cite the information that you have provided in the modules? What you want to do is you want to look at your APA formatting. I can't tell you completely of how to do it because I don't have the APA format guide right by me to actually do it to show you. But what you can do is go to your resource tab and then go to APA guide, and then you could look in there and see how you could pull or how you would find information to cite within the module. If it's a direct quote, remember to make sure to directly quote it with quotations.
What was that one? The journey of the one with go back to San Francisco. I can't leave you. You're family. Yeah, but wherever we go, we'll always have each other. You just saw an egg break. Yes, we did. But I was thinking, if you wanted to do something else, then you need to be your silent. How are you going to start and run a business alone? Well, actually, I have to. Hi.
It's good to see you.
You too.
I'm just going to quite a lasting impression.
Yes.
We felt crazy here.
Does anybody have any other questions?
And I feel in the same sense it could be in my wheelhouse. After all,
How many pages should the journal be? Please refer to the rubric. The rubric says it should be 1 page, double spaced. So in order to get full credit, it needs to be 1 page, double spaced. If you want to add more to that, you can. If you add less to that, if you do less than a page, you're probably not going to get all credit. So just to make sure that you guys understand, that has to be at least 1 page, double spaced.
Hey, Katie, I remember you said people should carefully keep an ornament for Christmas. Although I'm sure you will obviously this isn't an ornament. In a Christmas star. I hope it's your home.
And can everybody hear me okay? It looks like somebody cannot hear me. It looks like it might be Angela who cannot hear me. Angela, are you connected to the audio? Make sure you're connected to the audio so you can hear me. And it looks like everybody else can hear me, so just ensure that you are doing that. Is there anything else that you guys, any other questions If you can't think of any other questions right now, if they do come up, please shoot me off an email or a text and let me know. Like I said, I get back to you a little quicker with text messages than course messages because I usually have my phone on me pretty much all the time. Even if I'm in meetings, if I don't get back to you, I will get back to you usually within an hour or two. Madeline said, is there a penalty or would points be taken off if I use more than one page for a specific module? No. The biggest thing with that, Madeline, and class is if you end up going over one page, making sure that, so you do module 2 and it takes up like a page and a half. Okay, that's fine. I don't care about that. What I do care about is that your module 2 is 1.5 pages, then your module 3 has to start on a separate page. Each module does have to start on a separate page. Just so you guys know, because if you do module 2 and it's a page and a half and you start module 3, right by module 2 in the page and a half, then you will get docked points. So making sure that you're really, really paying attention to what the rubric is saying and making sure that each module reflection starts on a different page. Does that make sense?
Where we are.
Yes, thank you.
All right, perfect.
Today that reminds us of our greatest gift,
Anything else before I move on?
our friends, our community.
All right, hearing or seeing no questions, I am going to move on to our reflection and critical thinking questions. So if you are viewing this online, this is the things that you will also have to answer in your live session response. We talk a little bit about the qualities of being a good collaborator. Which ones are easiest for you to communicate with? What are some good qualities needed to be a good collaborator? For me, I'm pretty good at being aware, appropriate with social distances, and making sure that when I was as a teacher role and even as an administrator is trying to get to know each parent by their first name, so you're not just not knowing who they are. Makes it a lot more personal if you know each parent by their first name, so you could actually have a fluent conversation. Other good qualities of being a good collaborator and communicator is, having a clear speech, making efforts, like I said, to remember their names, being positive, being pleasant, being aware of appropriate social distance, and not prolonging conversations is a big one too as well. So thinking about important qualities needed to be a good collaborator, which ones will be the easiest for you to demonstrate? And which ones will be more difficult for you to demonstrate, and explain why? I know as a teacher, for me, one of the hardest things to do was to tell parents that their child was, well, misbehaving in school. So that was usually one of the hardest things for me to do, is approach a parent to tell them, hey, your child is not really behaving in school. But also telling them, the positive highlights too of, kind of using the sandwich approach of, your child did good in this and this, but he kind of struggled with this today. and then trying to collaborate with the parent to see what they're doing at home or if they even see that kind of behavior is really big. So I would like it to open up for conversation. Which ones are the easiest ones for you to demonstrate? I know that I got an answer from Sierra. She said building relationships is pretty easy if you take the time to do it, but as long as you take a little time to talk to each parent at pickup, they usually gradually build, which is good.
What are the odds of winning lottery?
Yes, especially in transitions. Yes, it is a really, Hila even said, yeah, it's really hard to tell a parent that their child is misbehaving, but you know, I think it's good for the parent to know that and being honest with them. And like, you know, if you build that relationship with them, it will become a lot easier to have those difficult conversations with those parents when those times do happen, because not every child is perfect. We all are imperfect human beings, and we all make mistakes. So that is the biggest thing, is to really connect with them so they understand how to best work with their child and know how you operate as well. So a lot of good feedback and a lot of good conversation here in the text box, which I am not going to read, but you guys are all on the right track. Very nice.
Exactly. So, how much over to the holidays? Well, I think it's great that going to the holidays like last year. Oh, no, I will be working. My mother's actually throwing this Kimberly holiday auction. The family who was supposed to do it, they dropped out last minute, so we have the equivalent of a wedding. Fun. Distraction, I mean. Cards. I checked to do something, but
Yeah, it is kind of hard when, and over a long period of time, you do, when a child does get hurt and you do call the parent, it, you know, I think the parent has to know that accidents do happen, and sometimes children push other children, and sometimes children bite other children, but you know that you're doing the best you can with what you have to make sure that we try not to have those situations come up frequently.
Carl, you know, we were still together, and and still go sleep.
Yes, telling a parent that a referral for a child is very tough, especially if they don't have any idea that their child may be not functioning in one of the developable domains. It can be really, really, really difficult. Yeah, calling on injuries can be bad too, just in a sense, because then the parents are thinking, well, are the caretakers not watching my child? And then they have an assumption that you're not watching their child, which in reality is that there can be multiple things that goes on in a blink of a second that you can't see, and then, you know, you're liable for a child being hurt. Well, you guys have some really good conversations, so thank you for responding to that question. And my next question is, I don't know if you guys had a chance to read the regarding of Joseph or Kristen's story. And if you have not, I'm actually not going to read it, and I'm probably not going to go over it either. But I just want you guys to really be aware that, you know, regarding Joseph and Kristen's story, just because of the sake of time, I'm not going to go over this because it is really long, and there is one other thing I would like to really touch up on before we do end our live session tonight. But if you are watching this, please take the time, if you're watching this recording, to take the time to read what could the teachers or administrators do to make their experience a little bit more positive. I would like you guys to read that at some point, and then you guys don't have to just respond just because of the sake of time. Like I said, we will skip over question number 4 tonight, but whenever you get a chance, you should look at that. It does have some interesting insights about how school was back in the 70s to what it is now, and just how we need to be really more aware of how we approach different situations, and being really sensitive to people's, especially to children's and parents' needs, in order to have an effective relationship with each of them. Now, as I jump in to pretty much the last thing I'm going to talk about for tonight is the 6 principle lecture, the 6 principles for the NACE lecture on the videos. So we talked a little bit about engaging families in an effective way, and I wanted to go over each of the principles just so you guys have kind of an idea of what they are, and then we'll dive into one in a little bit more depth. I feel like that this is more along your guys' lines of what you could do to become a better collaborator in the classroom. So basically, there are 6 principles, like I said. First one is, it says programs invite families to participate in decision-making and goal-setting for their children. Basically, this could include parent-teacher conferences and home visits. Basically, the parents and the teacher or come up with goals that they want their child to set in the classroom setting, and then basically whatever information teachers give, they try to give the essential elements to give to the parents so they could provide that extended learning at home for the children. So say Johnny is trying to write his name or something to that extent, and that's what the parent wants you to do. You know, giving them maybe like a trifold, a little tri-grip, so the children know how to write their name using kind of a tri-grip, stuff to that extent. So you're just making sure that you're continuing the learning at home and giving them the opportunity to have that extended learning at home. The next one, and we will touch up on the second one a little bit more in depth, it's teachers and programs engaged in two-way conversation in communication. So this is like how you guys, you know, like the daily sheets and the back and forth folders, daily sheets, newsletters, face-to-face, phone calls, emails, however you guys do it. And we'll talk a little bit more in depth about that principle a little bit later. The third one is programs and teachers engage in families in a way that are truly reciprocal. Basically, that is when programs and families benefit from shared resources and information. So programs can invite families to share their unique knowledge and skills and encourage active participation in the life of the school. So you could have parents come in and do volunteer work in the classroom. So teachers seek information about the child's life, and they could also bring in like their culture and their community into the curriculum and teaching practices. Number 4 is a principle that programs provide learning activities at home for the community. So basically, this is just programs providing learning activities for the home. So like in our Head Start program, we offer a Cooking Matters class. We also have yoga classes and fitness classes, just so parents have those chances to have those activities and be part of our community. Number 5 is programs invite families to participate in program level decisions and the wider advocacy efforts. So that's more like parent board for our Head Start to be more like policy councils, pretty much help to advocate for their children to strengthen programming. And the last one, but not least, is the programs implement a comprehensive program level system. These are parents are the voice to other parents to promote in their program. So basically, sometimes they use different scales for different rating scales, and they might not have much. Basically, parents do not have much say in this, but they can choose the quality of the preschool based on ratings and scales and stars and all those other different things. So, for example, if your star gets a 2 rating, they may not be able to charge as much as the same child care center down the road that got a 4-star rating. So they use these tools as a measurement pretty much of quality. So yeah, that's a little bit about each of the principles. We are going to actually dive into the second principle. What principle stood out to you and why? And say with the principle 2, what stood out to you, and can you what can you do as educators to engage families in two-way communication, and what do you currently use as an effective for your families? Why or why not? That's the two questions I want you guys to answer. But the first, I just want to go a little bit, I'm going to touch up on Pinterest, Twitter, and the classroom website. These are kind of unique ways that you can use. So basically, Pinterest boards are just an easy way you could share information about to families and stay informed and find new creative ideas to help children at home. You know, like I said, one of the biggest things is having that extended learning at home and making sure that we are reaching out to the parents so that they could actually help their child meet those goals, so the learning just doesn't stop at school, but it does extend at home. So, you know, making a board with your current research on different educational topics or issues, or create one that may include a subject-specific activity for children to do at home. I know a lot of our children like to do cooking stuff at the home with their parents. One of my favorite board is one with recipes to make at home, like I kind of mentioned. Each board gives families the opportunity to take concepts you are teaching at school and engage the children at home. So, like, if a family does have a Pinterest account, which are both free through a smartphone app, they could see your pins if you do have a Pinterest account and know that there's something they can be working on at home with their child. So that's a good way to extend to really extend the learning at home, is by sharing those resources with the parents. Another thing is Twitter. I don't know if you guys know. I don't know too much about Twitter, but I know that this account does allow teachers to follow other educational professionals and organizations that tweet about educational related topics and articles and such forth. So, like, when a family does have a Twitter, they are able to follow the teacher, see these different ideas and topics, and read about important issues related to with the children and their education in the classroom. But the teacher's educational and professional Twitter account must be kept separate from a personal Twitter account. I know when I was a coach a couple of years ago for Mountain Range High School baseball, that's how we communicated to our families, was through a Twitter account. It was more specific stuff. Actually, more specific stuff we would call them, but if it's more broad stuff of what time a game is, or if a game has been changed and when it's rescheduled, stuff to that extent. That's how we used it. And then there's, last but not least, the classroom website. And I really encourage you guys to do this if you can. I know, like, for me, I could never do this because I was under a corporate shell, and then right now I'm under a county shell, so I can't really do that. But anyone can really design a classroom website, and your website can be built to include anything you want it. So important things teachers or educators can do for their websites could be the daily schedules, weekly or monthly calendars, snack calendars, classroom rules, dress code information, or things that you're working on school, engaging activities, try at home, pictures of the student with permission of your school and the families, and anything else you see is important. These websites can also include a blog on which you can post a newsletter or write ideas, articles, or topics you want to share with families. I really think that this is a great way to build that collaboration with your families. So that is a little bit, those three things, a little bit about those three things. I see that people are writing in the chat box. So yes, to share what you can do as educators to engage families in two-way communication, and what you currently use, and is it effective for your families, why or why not?
Hi.
Hello.
Hi. Like Chelsea, Our center also uses tadpoles. It's like tadpoles for the administrative, but then the parents download a My Bright Day app where it's a two-way communication and everything is in real time, which is great. Like when we change a child's diaper, the parents get it right away. When they eat their food, they get it right away. Whatever the teacher's input. The only thing with that is like the parents are able to send communication in the morning saying like, oh, we're gonna pick up early or whatnot, but as soon as the child is checked in, the parents aren't able to input anything else. But the teachers are able to, like, oh, don't forget to pick up his dirty clothes. He had an accident today. So the parents know that, oh, I have to make sure to get the clothes so it's not like there overnight or anything. So that's what we use for the two-way communication. But also, just, checking in with them at the end of the day also.
Yeah, I think checking in with them at the end of the day is really important, but sometimes it's the communication, especially if you have a child care center that goes from 6:30 to 6:30, and then you have multiple staff. Sometimes communication can get missed when that happens, but I think in that situation, it's just making sure that you have usually the same people in there every day, so the parents do know the expectation.
Your story is so beautiful. I'm trying to go to my friend's house. I do. I'm sorry, it's not much. I wish I could do more. Thank you so much. I'll make sure you're back. Make it. Okay. I'm not sure I think we're good on that break.
It's interesting, and some companies have Facebook and some don't. We have a county Facebook that we do for our Head Start, but we also have like an administrator that views it, so we make sure that whoever posts things that are appropriate. So when everybody sees that, they know it's okay.
Hello?
Hello?
Hi. There's another thing that, I have the app too, which is like for daily communication that we use it, but once a week I actually email the curriculum to all the parents, and I do that, and in that I always encourage them so we usually have some kind of theme, and I'll say to them, if you have anything at home that's related to this theme, a book, a toy, a puppet, something that you'd like to share, please feel free to send it in. Or if you want to come in and read this story to the children, please, feel free to come in and let me know when you're going to come in. It's just another way that I try to involve the parents in the classroom and with all the kids. And the parents love that. And they communicate with me by that, or sometimes they might call and say, oh, I got your email, I'm going to come in, what time works, and something like that. That's another way I do it, too.
Well, thank you for sharing that. It's a really effective way, and I think parents do like to, some parents like to do that. The question is, you can't really force it upon them, but how do we get to the parents how do we get the parents that don't want to come and don't want to participate is, the real question, because it's usually those parents that their children are usually struggling in school or in a learning program, which is hard because I don't know.
As a photographer, I have to be focused on my client. I had a real bad toothache. He was just kicking, pounding. He was driving me crazy. Orajel was I applied it, gone, totally gone. Orajel got rid of the pain. I was able to focus on my photo shoot and bring out the best of my client. Oh! Looks exactly like the car.
So do you guys think that your guys' current method is effective for your families? I know that sometimes you don't always reach all the families, but because some families might just don't care, or they're too busy. But I mean, the biggest goal is to think about how do we reach those families that are maybe a little bit apathetic to being involved. I mean, it's a good question because you know, I think you can't really force anything upon parents, but you know, you could really advocate for their child's learning as much as you can, but you can't really push it upon them. You know, another thing that you could do too is making sure that you have like a community. What I used to do is I used to have a chili cook-off that I would put on. We used to have a before and after care program in a school, and I would do it for all of our community, and I would go out and go to different local businesses and see if they wanted to donate anything. And then I would have this huge festivity, and there usually would be like 50 to 100 people from the community that would be involved with that, including school staff, which really brought the community together. And it was a really big hit for 3 years, and even after I left, I still saw that they were still doing it, which did make my heart happy that it did continue. But there is different things that you could do to connect with those families to make sure that the communication is engaging and it is two ways. All right. Does anybody have anything else to add or share? Seeing and hearing nobody has any other things to share. You guys have any questions for me before we end this last live session?
Humor came to mind. So the potluck on the 21st, and I invited all the parents to make their Christmas dinner is a dish that they culture makes, or the child's favorite Christmas dinner, and we just gonna be in our, and the kids gonna wear their pajamas, and we just gonna have a potluck.
That's awesome. That's awesome that you're bringing in their own culture and bringing it in, and that they get to share. That's really awesome, Margaret.
Thanks.
Thank you for sharing.
Thank you.
I had a question about the discussion board.
Yeah, go ahead.
I've been trying to add my piece and whatnot. It keeps saying error, and it's to contact the system administrator.
Well, I am not the system administrator, but I could find out what's going on. Have you tried to log off and then log back in?
Yeah, I have, but then I'm thinking like if I have to like close down like Safari or like try to just turn off my computer, but I'm like I have to finish this web thing, so maybe I can try like after we're done. But I haven't had problem before, so that's why it's so weird.
So what you could do is if you have something going, if you're having trouble, and you need to switch something off to turn off your computer, copy and paste it into a Word document, and then shut down your computer and restart it again. You can also try a different browser. I know Internet Explorer doesn't work very well, but if you go to Mozilla Firefox, that works a lot better. I have no idea why, but sometimes when I try to grade assignments using Internet Explorer, I don't even see anything, and it's very difficult for me to grade assignments because of that browser. So I would try to do that. If you're having further troubles, just shoot me off an email. I'm not going to dock you late for it if it is something on our end at Rasmussen.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Any other questions? Concerns? No? Hearing and seeing that there is no other questions, I wanted to say thank you guys. You guys have been a great group of students to work with this term. If you have any questions, feel free between now and the end of class to email me, text me, or, I mean, one way or another, I will get a hold of you somehow, some way. If I would like you guys just to, at the very end, type your name to know that you were here for tonight's live session so I could give you guys credit. So if nobody has any other questions, feel free to type your name in, and have a good night.